Okay, it's 6 o'clock, January 16th, 2020. I call to order the city council, special city council meeting. A quorum is present. Amanda, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Briones?
Present.
Councilor Wynn?
Here.
Councilor Simons? Here. Councilor Kano? Here. Councilor Minor?
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. Leslie, would you say the prayer, please?
Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for all that you do. And we thank you that you allow us to be here to function as folks that works for the betterment of our community. We ask that you give us knowledge, wisdom, understanding, kindness, care, and love, that we can do what we're here to do, and do it in a way that's respectful to all, and help everyone to see that we're working in a direction that is beneficial to all. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you have anyone signed up for citizen comments?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Carolyn Martinez.
Carolyn Martinez.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Carolyn. I'm here as a citizen for East Main Drainage Project. I have family and friends who live there and have brought to my attention about the issues that are occurring there. Gas lines, ditches have not been maintained. They feel that they have been neglected, like put on the back burner. As Escondido Park, because of all the Escondido other projects, as Escondido Park, Keystone Complex, when East Main has been a project for years, and we are talking about years, not months, weeks, days, years, and have not been completed. When I brought this subject up about a year ago, the mayor addressed me to Mrs. Shaw, then she addressed me to the contractor. And I had no idea what the contractor was talking about. But anyhow, it has become a hazard to the residents in that area. As far as the ditches, they've been dug up, they're so deep, and anybody can fall in them. Gas lines have been busted, and people have almost passed out because of the gas lines. So anyway, I heard through the grapevine that Escondido Park has taken funds for the sports complex. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I heard over in the grapevine. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sarah Ramos.
Sarah Ramos.
Good evening. How are y'all?
Hello.
I'm going to pass these out to each one of y'all. And this way so that you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, good evening. My name is Clara Ramos, and I live at 1412 Anacua, Victoria, Texas. But my home and heart is at 502 East Houston, here in Kenedy, Texas. A while back in September, I had requested for copies of the permit and the permit fee payment for 415 Victoria Street, Kenedy, Texas, for an outside porch structure that was added to a manufactured home. And I asked for the permits starting in August and September of 2019 because I knew for a fact that the work was done somewhere in between that time. As you can see, I have highlighted up at the top on the first page where I submitted this on September the 20th of 2019. And at the bottom, it tells you the time that I dropped it off. I have a habit of doing that. Anytime I drop paper off, I'm gonna put the time, okay? On the second page, you'll see that the permit application was put in on the very same day that I requested for that information. Okay? And on the third page, as you can see, the receipt is also dated for the same day that I put in the request. And it's stamped 3:45 p.m. when I turned in the paperwork at 2:30. So this tells me that from here on, any member of this city, any taxpayer, if they're building anything, I don't care what it is, you don't have to have a permit until the work is done, because that's exactly what has happened in this situation. No one is above the law. No one. And if it's a rule or regulation that you have to have a permit, then it goes straight across the board for everyone. Okay? Now, on the last page, as you can see there, because I had requested for some information on Our Lady of Peace Catholic Church, on the, I guess it's called the Assembly Hall, and I asked for the permits and also the receipts for that. This was in my packet that I received. I received a lot of paperwork, but this is one that really caught my eye. And I brought this to the attention of the interim city manager. I came in, I spoke to him in his office for almost an hour. Okay? And I had requested for him to find out what those redactions were. And I never got a response. Okay? So I'm here today to ask each and every one of you city council members to please find out for me what those redactions were. Only because I do know for a fact that only driver's license numbers, wages or salaries, and also there's a third. There's only 3 items that you can allow for redaction. Everything else is public information. But my main concern is, why are the receipts redacted? The receipt numbers. Okay? That raises a lot of flags. And why that was done, I have no idea. What goes next to that is another question. What goes there? It's either a name or the contractor, and that is not private information. That is public. Okay? Also on the side, you will see the amounts. Now, I don't know, but anytime that I do paperwork or any accounting, a CR means a credit. And I have no idea why all of this would be credited. So these are questions that I'm asking of the council members to look into, and I would appreciate a response from either one of you, if not from all of you. So this is serious. This is serious because of the fact that you have a person that can get a permit after they've been questioned about it. And then the response, you can ask the city manager. Her response was, I didn't know I had to have one. Well, you know, when you're sitting there and taking notes at every meeting and it has to do with permits, how can you not know about it? And if nothing is done about that, shame on y'all. Shame on y'all, because you know what? That means they can do whatever the heck they want. And we can't allow that in the city. These taxpayers deserve better than that. So I'm hoping that you take it at heart and look into this and hopefully get an answer so that I can have that answer that I'm requesting as well.
We'll get you an answer.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Anyone else?
Shannon Ash.
I'm sorry?
Shannon Ash.
Shannon Ash.
Well, it may seem silly, but what I want to talk about real quick is just to say thank you for the Christmas decorations. The street department did a great job on the lighting, the wreaths, the trees, the Christmas in K-Town. This was our first Christmas here, and it was really nice. And I loved driving through. I felt very proud. My family was able to come, and I felt very proud of being able to see the decorations and the lighting, and the Christmas in K-Town was fun. And then together with the stuff going on in Carn City, with the chamber, with the tour of the homes, was fabulous, and the Otto Kaiser, their event was really great. And I come from a town, well, Christmas is big deal, big money, big deal. And this felt so real, it felt good and very festive. And I just wanted to get that on record, that it was appreciated. So the street department guys know that they made me happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody get her number, call her to the next meeting. Anyone else?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Item number 6, wait a minute. Item number 6, consideration of possible action in regard to the potential design changes for the East Main Drainage Project and potential delay in the East Main Drainage and paving projects relating to the changes. I'm going to assume that John has the presentation. Okay, how are you, John? Good. We're going to get the I'm sorry, I'm having problems. We're going to get the presentation. We're going to get the discussion from the council because they may get a lot of answers. The public may get a lot of answers from the listening. And then we'll take the public comments before they make a decision. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so East Main, number one, the original project, the original budget, we have met the goals to improve drainage. I just want to say that for the original scope of the contract. From here on out, any improvements are being betterment for East Main drainage. So there's been some discussion and consideration on the existing open ditches out there right now, and to provide a betterment of those open ditches, and to provide a closed system, storm drain system, with open grates to catch the water at various places throughout the system. The estimated cost is approximately $154,000, $230.50.
Hey, John, could you try to speak up a little bit?
Okay.
I can't hear you for that.
Oh, okay. So, I was going to say, did everybody hear the cost?
Say the cost one more time.
Approximately $155,000
Okay?
to improve, provide betterments of the closed system for the drainage of the open ditches. So there's, like any project, any cost, there's a benefit and a disbenefit. So the benefit would eliminate the open ditches with the closed pipe system and grates. The disbenefit is there will be slight improvements of increased parking area, but yet to catch the water, there's still going to be a certain amount of drop-off to catch the water on the system. So the whole system will be closed, so there's no open ditch, but at certain places throughout the system, there will still be drop-offs because you still have to catch the water. So there's no sense in just having a pipe and just having it covered. You still have to have a way for the water to enter the drainage system and then continue on through the outlet. So those are, in my opinion, the plus and minuses of that if council decides to move forward.
How much of a drop off is it?
Oh, probably approximately, I want to say no more than a foot.
And that's going to be a tapering foot
That's correct.
so that the water gathers and goes into the hoe and continues
That's
drainage.
correct. Yeah. And see, it may be a little bit less than that because the next phase, we're gonna improve the roadway. So if you have an improved roadway, and then to get the water to the drop in there, there's gonna be somewhat of taper in there, but it's still gonna be a drop, at least a foot to get the water in the system.
You're talking about grades. What sections of that road is gonna have the grades, or is it gonna be from one start point to the end start point?
Wherever the existing, where the ditches are, the existing open ditches are, periodically we'll have grades in there to catch the water. So it's probably gonna be, I've estimated here, at least 6 grates in that open ditch system in there to catch the water.
You no longer have an open ditch, it'll be covered ditch.
That's correct.
What are we covering, John? Are we covering concrete? Are we covering steel? What are we using for underground drainage?
Additional reinforced concrete pipe to continue on the system. So it'll be, it starts with 18-inch and continue all the way to 30-inch diameter reinforced concrete pipe.
Sounds good.
Continuation. Like I said, there'll be a slight increase. I know there's been some discussion about parking and drop-offs and nighttime and things like that, but in some areas, you will not be able to park because you need the open grate system to catch the water.
And they can't park where that grate's at.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's very correct.
Hello.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Come on in. Okay, so with that, how much maintenance comes with that, with everything being covered like that?
I would say minimal maintenance because it will provide access, the grates will act as access for cleanouts.
Okay,
So it can be typically no more than plus or minus 500 feet because, you don't want a person in the manhole and the reinforced drain system to crawl out. You need access for cleanout in case. But for those size diameters of the existing system, it's going to be minimal maintenance.
do you know where we're at on the total budget over there?
I believe we're right on track. I don't think we have significant savings in the budget, do we?
No, there's not.
So this would be in addition to that. That's correct.
Where are we gonna get, have any ideas where we're gonna get that money?
No,
You don't? Okay.
all I know is there is some credit to the existing contract because we're initially going to put some specialized slope stability material on those ditches. There's some credit there. And there's some credit, the road initially called for one course seal coat on the road. We're not going to do that. But I'm not sure now on the existing, there are some overruns on the contract, but yet you're still under the existing budget for that amount.
Okay, so we need to find the money. All right, let's get a motion and we'll discuss it and then we'll let the public speak.
I make a motion that we consider item 6 on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Okay, by doing this, by spending this additional money, you will have no ditches,
No open ditches.
no open ditches.
That's correct.
You will have concrete drainage that is that will take the place of the ditch now.
That's correct.
And you'll have grates over that where it's opening, where water will go into those grates to get into that drainage.
Yes, sir.
And you'll also have some sloped areas where water will go in, or is the graded areas where it's going to be sloped? The grade areas where
Just
it's
the graded areas, and it's going to be,
Okay,
typically it looks like a 5 foot by 5 foot.
right. And then that area will have a slope so that the water will come into it.
That's correct.
So if we go back to covering these ditches, are we pretty much going back to where we started from, where the water's gonna be standing and not flowing anymore? Or you're gonna make it where the gravity can pull the water to those ditches?
That's correct. There'll be no standing water in the system because where the ditches are, the grade of the slopes elevations already in place to pass the water through to the outfall. So
And you're gonna have, you'll have concrete culverts in there now
Correct,
instead of just the ditch.
that's correct.
Okay, so it won't be no ditches.
You said there would be some parking now issues, that some people won't be able to park near those.
There'll be slight increased parking area because what,
Right.
except at those great
At those
areas.
great areas.
Like I said, about approximately 5 foot wide or 5 foot. What is it?
Yeah, the areas where the grates at, nobody could park a car there.
And y'all still don't have it, like I said earlier, y'all don't have an idea where you're gonna put the grates yet?
No,
You have to go down there and look at it.
that's correct, because we have some crossings in there, I want to make sure they don't interfere with that, or we may connect them up. It's going to be a more
Because
design.
I know when we started this discussion of the project a few years back, was to get all the water out of there. And if we go back to covering it and we don't, this project doesn't work out the way it's supposed to, we're gonna be back to pretty much where we started at, water just standing around. And that defeats the whole purpose of starting this project to begin with. If that was the case, why did we do all this work if water's just gonna stay in the same place?
So in my opinion, we have met the drainage goal. There's no standing water. We have taken care of that. And I've been there several times during rainy events. It's been working. So with the closed system, all we're doing is matching what we call the flow lines. The existing ditches, we're gonna basically connect pipe to pipe to pipe to continue the system through there.
We're gonna direct the water into the gratings, the 6 gratings that he's talking about, Brandon. So it shouldn't stand, it should go right into the gratings and then travel just like if it was a regular ditch.
That's
if there's a
correct.
pipe
But
underneath.
there's a pipe in there that's traveling and not.
Budget officer, do we have $155,000 somewhere?
We have it somewhere, it's in reserve.
Any place other than reserves? Capital improvement.
We'll have to go back
We
and
got $1
look at
million,
that.
don't we?
We'll have to go back and look at that.
Okay.
That was my question. I didn't know if we had.
And what we've got budgeted is earmarked for expenditure in other areas, so we'll have to see if they can be redirected.
Okay.
I know I walked in late, but I wasn't able to sign up because I've had CPS at my house all day training. And I met with the city manager and the mayor. CPS is also involved in this stuff now because of the safety of the child that I foster fixing to adopt. So she was taking pictures and everything today again, because there is still standing water. I thought I heard you say there was no more standing
Yes,
water. No,
last
there's
week-
still standing water
Last
because,
week I was there.
Okay, are you guys done discussing? You want to allow the public to speak at this time?
Yeah.
Who signed up for public comment? You wanna sign up for
oh,
public
I
comment?
didn't
That's
know.
okay, you did. You got the opportunity now. Go ahead, Mary Ann.
I'm the first one?
You're the
No,
first one.
Christie.
Oh,
What?
to sign up?
I resigned you,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
but Christie is first.
Christie.
Hello, everybody. Good
Hello.
evening. So yeah, he did pretty much kind of answer some of the questions that I had. I just wanted to know what the status was, and it sounds like you've been working on it. So I appreciate that. And I guess as far as like the grates that are going to be there, how big is the opening going to be? And is it going to be like on the road side or on both sides for the water to go in to those 6
It'll
grates?
be on the existing ditch side, and like I said, about 5 foot wide, like a square, 5 foot by 5 foot.
So then the water will come in through the top?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. And then so whenever, obviously that has to be done prior to the paving of the,
Yes, that's correct.
and then also, to be clear on the paving, that's gonna go over the driveways that are there now. It'll go over, so it'll be like a smooth driveway from the paving into the driveway?
That's correct. That's part of the next phase, the paving project.
Okay. And yeah, we haven't had like a really big rain to tell if the slope is gonna, run the water down. I mean, I don't know, it's dirt now, so obviously with the concrete pipes, it's gonna run.
But that's, for the most part, that's my, I guess that's all I have right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Gloria?
Gloria?
I'm okay with her.
You sure? Change your mind, let us
Well,
know.
I have, okay, you know what? I
Yeah,
have
come
one.
See, Linda's right.
Thank you for everything and what y'all adding, but I wanted to know the paving of the road. Did y'all say y'all gonna knock that down? I know y'all discussed it a little bit last time. The road, the paved road, are y'all gonna bring that, take it off and put new one? Because last time y'all talked about it, y'all said it was gonna be like 10 inches high, 10 inches high. Huh?
So the existing road's going to be like this. It's a certain elevation. So the top 6 inches, we're going to salvage and replace, move to the other side. And below that 6 inches, we're going to take out another 6 inches of bad material or poor material, and that's going to be hauled off. And then the salvage material is going to replace the poor material out. And then we're going to place brand new 6 inches of limestone base, and we're going to put a moisture barrier, and then we'll come up with about approximately 2 inches of hot mix, what they call the blacktop. It's not that seal coat, it's not oil and rock. It's a 2-inch hot mix material that's placed all at once,
So an 8-inch increase if my math is correct?
more or less, about 6 to 8 inches. So that will address some of the driveways
If they're
profile.
taking 6,
Taking 6 inches out.
putting 6
And then they're
in.
gonna put 6 inch back in. They actually took out 12 inches. They took out 6 inch of good, 6 inches of bad, that's 12 inches. Then they're gonna put the 6 inch of good back. Now, they're still 6 inches lower than they was, and they're gonna put another
2 inches.
6 inches in,
6.
and then they're gonna put 2 inches on top of
So it'll
that.
only be 2 inches
So we're only talking
higher.
about 2 inches
Higher
higher.
than what it is now.
It's 8 inches high.
Let me
It's
see.
8, they're only removing 6, they're gonna replace the 6.
He said 12, because you said there's 6
Say it again,
inches
one
of.
more
Yeah,
Oh,
once
okay.
again, because
One more time.
my math is running different,
Let's do it like this. Okay, so here's the existing profile.
okay?
So 6 inches, we're going to salvage it, we're going to reuse it.
Right, so 6 inches going, taken off,
Take it off.
okay?
So now we're down 6 inches.
Right.
So now we go down an
Go
additional
down another 6
6
inches. Now you're down 12 inches.
12 inches.
Okay.
So that bottom 6 inches, hauled off, yanked away.
It's gone.
Not gone, not to be used again,
Now you're gonna take the 6 inches you took out,
right? And put it
put it
back
back in, and
That's
you're
correct.
12 inches down right now, so
Right.
now you
up to 6.
up to 6.
Right,
You 6 inches from where you started.
right. So
Then you're
now
gonna put another 6 inches
6
on
inches.
now. Now you at the height you was at,
Right.
you're gonna put 2
2
inches on top of
There you
that.
go.
It's
Right.
only a 2-inch
Inches
difference.
difference.
Thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
We didn't look at the drawing, it's 8 inches. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, so that will address the driveways, which are going to be covered, or under the paving project. The driveways will be repaved on both sides. Take care of that.
Are you more confused? Keep on asking.
When you go to where Mr. Felipe Leal lives in that area, it's gonna be nice like that. Supposedly gonna be looking
Okay,
like
I
that.
know,
Better.
I'm just trying to say because I just want the water to fall where
Yeah.
it's supposed to.
Yes.
you know.
Definitely. Thank you. Anyone else?
Mary Ann?
Mary Ann,
I'm sorry, I'm a little behind.
that's okay.
I haven't been coming like I should be. What determines what's the bad and what's the good? Because it's always been bad. I'm 52 years old, it's always been bad. So what are you determining, that you're gonna remove the bad but keep the good? And then remove the bad and keep the, to me, it's all bad. I'm sorry.
Well,
My house is unleveled, it's only 5 years old, brand new from the ground up. I can't get it leveled back until y'all are done, because this is gonna go re-level, so I'm gonna be paying double to level my home that's already has cracks in it. So I wanna know how are you determining good and bad? Because to me, it's all bad.
Core sample.
That's correct, Mayor. We took cores throughout the job there, and that tells us what type of material is at the various depths. And then plus, since there's been the gas line repair, the sanitary sewer line repairs, there's a lot of good material there now that was used for patchwork that we can utilize on the job now. And so when you grind it up with the existing miscellaneous seal coat material in there, and then there's a lot of new base material in there from the patching, that's gonna make it very, very good stable material as your footprints of the roadbed. And then we add an additional new, completely clean base type material, you're looking at a pretty stout roadway to accommodate the existing traffic, especially the trucks that go to the wastewater treatment plant. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I might be behind, so excuse this next question.
That's okay.
Because it's right in front of my home.
Okay,
That one drainage that the CPS people call the city manager and the street department to get barricaded. I know we talked about adding those like pipes so that no child could get in there and get stuck. Has that been added on yet?
That's not.
Because that's
Well,
one of
that
the
won't be an
main.
issue now. You won't
It
have
shouldn't be
those.
an issue.
Yeah, you won't have
When it's
those
done,
spots
it's
because
water should be-
you'll have the areas that have the grate where that water goes into the pipes that are in the ground. So you won't have an area where it's open dirt.
So that's what this agenda item is about, is doing covered drainage. So if this item is approved, it should alleviate the
That.
issues you're having with CPS.
Yeah.
you will still have the open ended on the south side of the road. This only addresses the north side of the road. On the south side, there's a flared area with open pipe in there so the water can go across the road. The
Okay.
grates,
Well, that's what they're worried about, that open area.
Can we include something to cover that also?
yes.
Yeah, those rounded deals so a body can't go through.
Yes, that's what they're concerned with.
But I thought we had already said we were gonna do that.
So you're talking about when you're driving to East Main, the right side?
Yes.
Yes, the right side.
Everything on the right side
That's
is
correct.
for the grates.
No, the left side for the grapes, the right side is what Mary Ann's talking about.
Okay.
So
And it's
that,
just not,
So-
they're not
No,
just
no,
worried
exactly.
about my house having it, they're worried
Yeah.
about the other children down
Down the street.
Down the street. I just have a little bit more work that I have to, I gotta send pictures to the supervisor in Victoria, it's raining over there, can you go outside and take pictures, can you walk? So that's what they have me doing, but I've also met, with the city manager and the mayor. And they're also in contact with you, via email?
He hadn't contacted me. CPS has not contacted me.
Miss Cipriano Garza out of Victoria, they're actually the FAD workers, FAD workers.
I'll have to go back and I don't think.
She said she had emailed you that it was gonna be, somebody responded back to her, there was gonna be a 2-year project, still wait,
Oh, well, that may have been several months ago. But I
Yeah.
haven't heard from them recently.
And not like today, or it's been
It's been like it's been-
that's their main issue, is that if a child goes in there and there's no, kinda like what y'all did over here by the Catholic Church, and is it Copano, what is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking, yeah.
That's what
yeah.
they're looking for.
Those rounded metal grates
Yes.
that go down to keep it also helps keep debris from getting
Debris.
in there and kept other stuff from getting in there.
That's what they're looking for. Is this in the project, or can y'all add it? I know it's gonna cost more money.
it'll be an additional cost.
Everything's
I mean, if
additional.
it's necessary, we need it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
Price on a line.
hey, John, turnaround time. When can we get this done and be out?
well, all right, so the existing pavement project plans are they're 99% complete.
Okay.
So they're good. But, so that was when we discussed this after public comment about financing options next after this.
Okay.
Okay? We'll let the public speak and then we can discuss direction.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
Speaking
good.
on her topic, John, on her topic, right there in her area when you're coming in, Is the water still in the pans to go back to the creek?
I'm not sure
You
you're
have,
424 East Main, right behind
Right behind the church there.
Oh, the first block?
on the right.
So that first block, that's more or less the breaking point, it's supposed to go towards the west, to the concrete line channel.
okay, so she's going back to the creek, the other side's going that way. Okay.
That's correct.
Because they ask me questions and I just, sometimes I couldn't answer them, and that's why I decided to be here, making an effort, even though I was running late to
Oh,
be
yes,
here.
ma'am. Mhm.
But if you could please address those, adding, or maybe we could do a GoFundMe page. Because, I mean, when you have an agency, a government agency also on this, on top of us, city employee, voters and stuff, you're looking at a whole other can of worms.
Thank you, Mary Ann. She was the last one, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I have one question. I don't know if I missed, John asking, responding about the turnaround time. If it is approved, on closing up the ditches.
He shut me down. He said we're gonna talk about that after this item.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it in a minute. Good eye, John. But we're gonna talk about it in just a minute. Hey, you guys have any other discussion on this? Anybody have any idea what you wanna do?
Personally, I think if this is what's going to fix what the problem really is, this is gonna fix it. This is gonna address the issues that the citizens are concerned about. It's gonna address getting the water out of where it's at and moving it to where it needs to be. And it's gonna create a situation that's not dangerous to the public. I don't think there's any question about what we need to do.
Motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we take action to give approval for the East Main Drain Praise Properties to spend $154,000. Well, actually, we need a little more than that because we want those, that we want those other pieces in there.
So do we, do you want to include a price, or do you just want to say to approve this project
Yeah.
with the additional
Right.
caps?
Yeah, with the additional grates to make
Grates.
sure on the other side of the road that if something falls over there, if a child is over there and the water starts to flow, they can't be pulled through that drainage.
I might suggest it's something that's uncertain. If you approve this amount, then the other amount can come as a change order.
Yeah.
Council could approve it.
Relating to changes. So if you had,
So approve the amount tonight, and then we'll come back with a change order for the
Yes.
rates.
That'll be-
I got, we're going further. John, another question I'm going to bring up.
wait 1 second.
Okay.
Where is the amount? There's not an amount in the, it's just asking to, I know, but it's not on here. If he just does what he wanted to do and approve this, we can discuss the finances later. They know what it is, but it's not in here.
There's no amount.
There's not an amount in here.
That's correct. It's the amount that we have, or the amount that in the council's package, $4,230.50. And that's, it's, you could approve this, but you need to know how much you're approving on the item. The packet has $154,230.50. That's the amount you approve. If it comes more, we'll do a change order and then you approve that.
See, here's the
I
draft.
understand that.
Yeah.
You review this every time they put a meeting out, right? It doesn't have that. I understand it's in our package.
That's correct.
If he wants to approve this, he can. It's on the agenda. I understand what you're saying about the
Yes.
money. I don't have a problem with that. If that stuff needs to be on here, we need it on there. If they need more money, they can, but it's real simple. If he does what he needs to do, according to what's written right here, we know it's 154 something, right? He gives us the other price, you can do that at another time. It's not that complicated. I mean, it's not on here. There's not a number on here.
That's correct, but the number presented to council is $154,230.50. Now, if you want to approve whatever amount that's going to be, that's council's discretion to do that. However, that amount certain will be in the minutes, and then you can rely on that.
Well, the amount is here on our change order. We have a copy of the change order to go in our packet.
John, do you understand what I'm saying? We were presented 154,000 and something, but it did not include the other things that were asked for.
That's correct.
The grading. So if we say 154,000 right this minute, we're gonna be sitting here in another meeting saying, hey, well, we already spent this, but now we need more money.
Or can we just do, in my opinion, an additional change order?
Okay, that's my point. We don't wanna leave here and everybody thinks 154,000, and we're back here next week saying we need another $25,000.
But we were gonna need some more for the grading. The grading is additional. That was not in this original
So
discussion.
everybody understands out there that they're sitting here today, we're saying 154, but we know we're coming back to have to ask for more because everything's not included. Does everybody understand that?
Why can't he just give you a round figure now?
Because he don't have it. We didn't, he don't know it. We didn't ask him to get that
We do this with all the
information.
other projects, we come back with more money.
Can we do it not to an exceed?
No.
It's, then you get questions of the council approving amounts that were not presented in front of it. It's better to approve this amount than have to change it.
Let me do my motion.
Do your motion, Leslie.
Do your motion.
Let me just ask this question real quick.
Go ahead, man.
John, this won't make the warranty invalid, right?
That's
All this
true.
changing we're doing, say we get a big storm and everything happens and we're finding mess ups, we call y'all to come back and fix this, I mean, that's still out there on the table.
No, because the area of the open ditch, the surface area, the sloped area,
I'm never.
is more or less overall going to be equal to the area of the pipe, the diameter of the pipe area. So hydraulically, or for hydraulic purposes, the water to be carried through the system is going to be almost identical as it is now, with the open ditch. Almost. There's a slight decrease in capacity with the pipes because it's a closed system. But it's not for the short run that it is. It's not going to be a significant impact to the overall system.
Motion, Leslie?
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion that we give approval to, this 154, 230 and 50 cent for the, change order that were for Hanson on the East Main Drainage Paving Project.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? If there's no-
Again, just everybody realize we're gonna come back and have to add more money. I just want everybody to understand that and say, well, you'll say 154, no, yes, plus more. Just want everybody to understand that before we vote on this, that we're gonna come back and ask for more. Or they're gonna come back and ask for more because there's more changes that have to go in place, okay? Just so that everybody's clear.
Like I said, we do it all the time with the other complexes. We come back for more money.
If there's no other discussion, please call the
Mr.
roll.
Ruiz, if the change order doesn't exceed the 10,000 or 50,000, whatever it is, can the city manager approve it without bringing it to council to keep the project rolling? Or this has to be brought back in front of us?
As discussed last,
Okay,
lots of
make
things
sure.
has to be brought up.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, please call the roll.
Counselor Briones?
Yes.
Counselor Webb?
Yes.
Counselor Sines?
Yes.
Counselor Thomas? Yes. Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
Motion passes, thank you. Item number 7, consideration and possible action in regard to change order number 1 to the site utilities contract with RL Road General Contracting Incorporated for the Larry Kiesling Youth Sports Complex in the amount of $5,952 even. Did anyone sign up for a public comment? No? Presentation?
Mark?
Mark?
Good evening, Mark Hall with Hanson License here. So this is another change order for your consideration for the sports complex. Tuesday, you actually approved some extra costs associated with the relocation of the restroom as per design. Just move, and
Speak up a little bit.
all right, I'll try to speak. I usually depend upon microphones. I didn't say that, but I'll try to speak louder. The restroom in the plan was moved in the parking lot. And so this cost is related to the cost to relocate the water lines and sewer lines to serve that bathroom. Similar to what you looked at Tuesday.
Motion,
Make a motion that we consider item number 7 on our agenda.
And I'll second that.
discussion.
We don't have much option. I mean, if
We need to move on.
Man, need it out there.
In order for that bathroom to work, we need
Right.
Hey, I do want to add this. Does everybody understand what the purpose of the relocation of this specific restroom is for?
to centralize it.
To be closer to the
Right.
water.
So,
Closer for everybody to use it.
right, so we're actually taking care of everything, not just the complex with this restroom. Instead of, we have another group that wants to build another restroom, this is gonna take care of an additional, spending extra $300,000 in the near future. So, that's why we're relocating the restroom. Is there any other discussion?
I'll make a motion that we approve change order number 1 in the amount of $5,952.
And I'll second that.
Any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, please call roll.
Counselor Bionis?
Yes.
Counselor Wynn?
Yes.
Counselor Science? Yes. Counselor Connor?
Yes.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
All in favor?
Motion passes, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Consideration, item number 8, consideration and possible action in regard to change order number 3 with Hellas Construction Incorporated for the Larry Keesling Youth Sports Complex in the amount of $14,767.50. Presentation.
This item is related to the relocation of the bathroom again, except for this time for the electrical facilities. Different contractor, that's why we have 2 separate kind of change orders.
Does this have anything to do with electricity in the future for basketball courts? or
Yes,
that?
sir, and that should have mentioned that too.
Okay.
It allows the relocation of the electrical conduit around the parking lot, and also, while doing that, to stub out to serve basketball court in the future.
Right, instead of us tearing up a $300,000 parking lot, proactive, we're putting conduit in the ground now. Good. Any movement?
Make a motion to approve change order 3 with Hollis Construction Incorporated for the Larry Keesling Youth Sports Complex in the amount of $14,767.50.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, please call the roll.
Counselor Bionis?
Yes.
Counselor Wynn?
Yes.
Counselor Science?
Yes.
Counselor Connor?
Yes.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
All in favor?
Motion passes, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Item number 9, consideration of possible action in regard to a special event license application from the Kenedy Chamber of Commerce Blue Bonnet Days Festival, requesting a street closure from the intersection of Main Street and 2nd Street and ending at the intersection of Main Street and 5th Street from 11 a.m. on March 6th, 2020 to 10 a.m. on March 8th, 2020. Is there a presentation?
The chamber has, in your packet, you will find, has submitted their application. They have met all the requirements. They have a site plan, they have a closure plan. They've been in contact with the police chief on security, traffic movement. I believe they're hiring a company to come in and do their barricading and their reroute signs. And Jolene is here if you have any additional questions.
Okay.
About what's going to happen there, but staff recommends that we move forward with their application.
Okay, Julie?
Good evening. I am here to answer any questions that you guys do have. We are hoping to bring this event downtown for your permission.
Are you guys gonna have a parade?
If we do, it will be depending on if this is approved, and it will be a separate application. That was just my misunderstanding, but if I understand correctly, it's a different category, and we need to submit it 14 days in advance. That's why it's not here.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's a completely different setup as far as traffic rerouting.
First and foremost, I really truly appreciate you guys bringing the festival back downtown Kennedy. I'd like to get a motion. We can talk about this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to discuss item number 9.
And I'll second that.
I want you to do the festival. I'm a fool anytime I send people to another town to do a festival. I do have concerns. And I know on the city's end, we didn't ask for parking. We didn't ask where we're gonna park all the cars. And for meetings that I've been to with you guys, which is only a couple, that was a big deal, where we're gonna park the cars. I want you to get this approved. I hope the board approves it for you today, but I do hope we have something figured out for parking. Because we found it was a task, but we worked through it and we found a couple of spots that worked really well.
Okay.
Are you guys doing barbecue cook-off?
Probably, yes.
I mean, I saw it mentioned, but I didn't see it mapped,
Yes,
was the only reason I
most
asked.
likely it would happen. If it does happen, it would be on the property that is behind the firm where we've traditionally had it, that goes around First Street. When I had spoken with Chief Ash, as long as we keep that part kind of contained in itself and not make it one whole festival connecting, it wouldn't really interfere too much with traffic, because they usually kind of stay in their own little area over there.
Yep, they could, if you guys approve it, they can.
Do you want to have the barbecue cook-off on the property where we're gonna put the new,
New
You're checking
convention
out
center?
Main Street.
Or the
If you guys
convention
would
center?
allow us, I think that would be wonderful.
I think that would be a
Great
good
spot.
area.
Great spot.
I think that would be a good area for you guys. It's plenty of room. It's now all open because there's not a building there, but I think that would be a good spot for you guys because they can even park down that.
And it keeps away from everybody's homes, because I know.
I just like it better there than over there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That way
Absolutely.
they
We would
don't
love
feel
that. I
like,
mean,
that way they don't feel like they're by themselves. If they want to come from up there and join what's going on downtown, they can.
I would
That's a
be
good idea.
great
This
spot for
user
you guys.
appreciated. Would y'all opposed to them parking over here where they wanted to have the barbecue cook-off to begin with? By the firm? Would that be a problem, people parking there?
They'd have to get clearance from whoever owns the land.
I
but I
believe
don't
it's a
think it-
railroad company, and I'm
Yeah.
sure they would give us permission to
That's
that.
part of
We
what
could
we're purchasing.
absolutely do that. We could absolutely.
Yeah, that, if you move that to there, then that would give you a lot of room for parking.
Jolene, has anybody pulled measurements? I'm assuming that this isn't to scale.
No, it's not just,
Okay, has anybody pulled any measurements?
no.
Is anybody concerned with congestion here?
I wouldn't imagine so. I mean, we don't expect to have 10,000 people. If I had a big
Why not?
shopping cart, our headline is Collin Park. We didn't want to go too big. We kind of wanted to
Go
test
big.
the waters.
Go
We want to
big,
test the
go
waters and see what it looks like this year, and go from there. And we don't want to take up too much space. We find it best case scenario if we do stay between 2nd and 5th, so we don't have 5th Street shut down, which is actually considered a highlights. And you keep First Street open so people can run, 2nd Street open so people can move, because that is also considered a highlight. So it just kind of keeps it right in the middle of town.
Okay. The main thing, what I'm getting at is the stage where it's at.
Okay.
And how it looks on paper is this area here is congested. And the only reason I say that is you only got like 120 feet from sidewalk to sidewalk out there. And when you put the stage there, I'm assuming you're leaving this lane open for your parade, right?
Yes, if the parade happens.
And then we have a ticket booth, the beer garden, crafts, food vendor across the street on the other side, and then all of this area is covered too, right?
Yes.
It doesn't leave a lot of room in here.
To kind of stand.
And when we put people in there that are consuming alcohol, we make things hot.
Do you
Very
have a
hot.
suggestion for that? Would you prefer we move it into the middle of the street and?
I think it'd be
reroute it?
great if you put it in the middle of the street.
And
I'm
go
not saying you
further
have
down.
to, but you just allow everybody the opportunity to, if I don't want to stand by Brenda, I don't have to stand by Brenda.
Right.
Because I'm looking for a picture to show you. I mean, I don't want to hinder your event, but I want you to have a safe event also.
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that, and we could just find a different route for the parade. We could reroute it. We've done it in years past. We could do it again.
And
Because the
I'm
one
not
thing
saying
which-
it's a deal breaker, that's not what I'm saying,
Right.
I'm just,
Because I think before on the parade, you guys come around and come up by the fire station, right?
Yes.
If y'all
Well, we'll
went-
come down, we come down 2nd Street, take a left on Main, and that's why the stage is angled the way that it is, to let that. It's not ideal.
hey, would you
Right.
take a look at this?
Sure.
Because we didn't expect that either. If you try to put that
Right,
in that,
right,
it's not gonna work out.
Just
And
you
to
guys
give you
had yours
more
on
room.
Second Street, correct? It was number 1 Second?
Yes, ma'am.
That would give you more room.
We could do that.
If you do decide to have a parade, it's gonna be on a Friday evening or Saturday
It would
morning?
probably be Saturday.
Saturday morning?
Yeah. I think Friday would be colder, I mean, that's beyond our night. I'm just playing.
Okay, how about, police officers? I noticed it says like 12 or something like that. Is there any way we can get more?
Yeah, absolutely, we could do more. I did that just so I don't want to put Chief Ash in a situation where he doesn't have enough. I don't want to ask for too much and not have enough and have to pull from all over the place. In years past, we've used approximately 12 and it's been okay, but if that is something we need, we can absolutely.
I'm not saying that it's a deal breaker. I just want to make sure because I think that people are ready for you guys to be back downtown. And I think they're coming this year. They're coming back downtown. And if we're expecting to not have a lot of people, we're gonna have a lot of people. If we
I
have
can get
12
with Chief
people.
Ash and see what the maximum would be or what he would suggest.
Okay.
I can do that.
So I think if you got more police and kind of expanded your area, I think you'd be good. And
So
then
would you
guys-
like to see it on Second Street or Third Street? Would you like to see it on Second Street? Would you prefer to do that?
I think so. I think
I
you
don't
have
think
more
she
room.
does.
And then I think we all agree, you guys can use that area out there where the convention center, then
Yeah.
the center's gonna be for your barbecue. I think that would give you more space and kind of get people a little more, room to have room to do your barbecue. So.
And that's actually a good, big
It's
spot for
spot.
a barbecue. So you can get a lot of barbecue folks.
We do.
Hey, I'm just gonna ask, I noticed in their package, they spent a bunch of money, I don't know, about $4,000 on, signs and stuff with Flasher. Is it absolutely necessary that they have that stuff from Flasher?
TxDOT requires them to have.
Do we not have that stuff?
We don't have enough of it. We don't
Okay.
have the detour signs that TxDOT's gonna require.
Okay.
In
When I
fact, TxDOT will require us to have additional signage for any event that the city does, the Mile Fest or something like that. They let us slide a little last year, and this year they're gonna be a lot more strict about the signage and having the lighted signage and those kinds of stuff.
And this company, actually, that I have this quote from, this company that I got a quote from actually works with TxDOT all of the time. So he had a lot of insight as to what they would require, and that's kind of where all of this is from.
I was just trying to save the $4,000.
We should do it.
Okay, any other
Can they
discussion?
use, can they use
What we already have and then just get additional.
whatever you need?
That way you're not spending as much. I mean, you can use what we have and then whatever more you need, then you can, get more. That way you're not spending that program.
I would like to see the festival, are you kidding?
Me too.
Does Dolphin got any concerns?
I'd like to go if you guys.
That's what I'm talking about. See? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the special event license for the Kenedy Chamber of Commerce for the Blue Bonnet Days Festival.
With those
and,
changes to give you
with
that.
the
extra.
necessary changes that we talked about.
And I'll second that.
Is there any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, please call the roll.
Counselor Briones?
Yes.
Counselor Wynn?
Yes.
Counselor Sines?
Yes.
Counselor Quantum?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Blue Bonnet Days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jody.
Thanks, Joey. You know you don't have to, right, because you don't earn the income. I mean, you're entitled to do that, but you don't have to. Item number 10, consideration of possible action on maintaining the existing agreement with Kenedy Independent School District for field usage for baseball and softball until the end of May 2020, with revisions to be discussed and decided during the summer of 2020. Yeah, I think I'm going to open on this one. Has anybody seen that agreement?
Yeah, well, the only agreement I saw was the one that was signed, that y'all sent to us, but It's an old one, but I guess everything is the same.
Yeah, but
Does it still stand?
I'm gonna say it doesn't because of the last time that there was a payment received. That would automatically null and void that contract. I could be wrong, but I just got the contract today. I didn't ever read it. I don't wanna see him pay $10,000, but I don't get to make that decision. I want us to just leave it alone right now, run it like however you've been running it. And, when the thing's completed or close to completion, let's get together and make what rules we're gonna make and make the deal that we're gonna make. He may wanna do something different, and if he does, I mean, I'm willing to listen to it.
I've talked to the school district, and their concern was that we would come up with a whole new set of rules and regulations as the fields are being completed. And my concern is the same as the mayor. I don't think we need to make any changes at this point, that we need to continue on, allow them to use the fields. And then over the summer, we have a new agreement with the school district that covers who's doing what, when, where, why, and where the money goes and where the people go and all of that stuff. It's detailed, and everybody can approve that then before we start the next school year. Dr. Bird's here if you would like to hear from her.
Ms. Barrera, what do you?
That's exactly what we talked about. I just wanted to make sure that as it became available for our use, that we wouldn't have something new and something to discuss. So at this point, if we could go through for this year, and then maybe even before May, get together and talk about agreements for next year, just so we can budget.
I think we need to just leave it alone. Don't say we're going off this agreement, because what I read, if it wasn't paid for, it's void. And if we say we're gonna re-enter it into this thing, it could cause some problems. But I'm saying within the next 30, 45 days, we need to have some new rules. We need to know exactly what we're doing with the school. And I say it in front of everybody. They're bringing their people to us. I don't think we should charge them a nickel.
And you know, we're talking about Kenedy School.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know about all the other schools, but Kenedy School, this is our field, and this is our school and our kids.
They went based off
This
of.
is- yeah,
Let's build
I mean,
this for them.
Yeah,
Let them use it.
we
It's
want
their priority.
the school to be out there using it all the time.
Yep.
And then the time that they're not using it, we'll sell it and rent it and all that other stuff. But, you know, the whole reason we're spending this money is for our kids. And if we're gonna spend it and then take money back from the school after that kind of
Defeats the purpose.
yeah.
Perfect. So if you would, please do not, let's
Take
don't
no
do this.
action.
Let's take no action.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to take no action on item number 10.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, hey, whispering doesn't make friends.
I just want to see a copy of the contract.
Okay,
Here's the paper.
No, you go ahead with your motion, I just want to see.
thank you. If there's no other discussion, please call the roll.
Counselor Briones?
Yes.
Counselor Wynn?
Yes.
Counselor Sines?
Yes.
Counselor Thomas?
Yes.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
All in favor?
Motion passes, thank you. Okay, Kenedy Independent School District, do you feel better?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You got to win now, Coach.
It starts at 1.
Oh, he's a winner.
Item 11, consideration and possible action in regard to Resolution 20-02, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Kenedy, Texas, confirming review and approval of the city's strategy and investment policy. Presentation. Hello. Come on in.
Thank you. This is the investment plan that has to be renewed every year by council. Nothing changed out of it, it's the same thing.
Are y'all buying Bitcoin?
Not yet.
I've been asked, I'm serious. So we're not buying Bitcoin?
We invest in tax pool.
Okay. So we're not buying Bitcoin, guys. Everything's in text pool.
Yes, sir.
Any movement?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 20-2 of the city Kenedy, Texas, confirming approve the city strategic investment policy.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? If there's no discussion, please call roll.
Counselor Briones?
Yes.
Counselor Wynn?
Yes.
Counselor Sines?
Yes.
Counselor Klein?
Yes.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
Counselor Kenny?
Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 12, discussion regarding results of online poll conducted by Kenedy Police Department, rate of pay, time management of police department, damaged patrol vehicles, and city crime rate with possible action for a subsequent city council meeting. Any movement?
I'll make a motion, we consider agenda item number 12.
I'll second that.
Okay, I've had several questions, and I've always told the chief I'll never ask him questions in a city council meeting, and I'm not gonna ask him questions. My questions are always gonna be directed to the city manager. If you wanna refer to him to get those answers, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just not gonna ask him questions in the city council meeting, nor any other employee. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for whatever his department does. I don't know what the results look like from your poll. I'd like to see them. I'm hoping they're great. And then I'm questioning, we get some results, but others we don't. Is there any reason why we don't? Do you know why we don't get those results?
Refer to the chief.
So this particular poll you're talking about
Yes, sir.
was an actual survey, community survey I did on Facebook. Is very unscientific Facebook poll or survey. As part of our recognition program, we're supposed to reach out to the community and take input from them on the police department, what they think about the police department. This was intended for internal use, for us to know where we stood with the community, what people think. If I'd known you wanted, I would have given it to you, sir. But there is a copy. I gave you a copy. What I did was just a little survey or a response of how much percentage of each entity. Did y'all take that survey home?
I didn't even see it.
I didn't see.
Well, I did have
Facebook.
So on Facebook, so I put it out November 18th, I think it went out. Had a lot of response, and then by the end of November, I quit getting responses. Had a total of 90 returned responses on it, 2,400 followers on Facebook, 90 of them responded. So it's a very unscientific poll. Basically, I said designed for us. I can go over each question if you want, but basically, it kind of runs down. Most of them run about 60-40, 60% positive, 40% not so positive. There's a couple areas I thought were really good. Communication, people thought we communicated well. They think our officers treat people fairly, that's good. There was concern about safety in their neighborhood. Overall satisfaction, like I said, right about 60-40. But I said that was intended for our internal use, for our recognition program, but you're welcome to have a copy of it.
Okay, thank you. I've got a list, and it's gonna take some time. Has the city council performed an evaluation on the chief of police for his annual?
They have not.
Is he currently on probation?
No.
Okay, when was he removed from probation?
When his 6 months was, he was supposed to be, but he was removed after I got here.
Is there any paperwork that documents any of that?
Yes, there is.
Okay. People like to tell me stuff, just like they like to tell you stuff, and they like to tell everybody on this board stuff. A lot of it's true. Some of it may not be true, but I can't ignore any of it. Patrolling, people are not seeing the vehicles. They're not seeing them anywhere. Are we doing anything to make sure that we're patrolling properly? Do we go out randomly and say, hey, we're gonna ride with an officer, we're gonna check their logs and see if they're actually patrolling, or do we wait until there's a problem and the mayor gets mad and send a kind of not so nice email.
I'll refer that question to the chief.
Short end, no, I do not ride with officers. I have not done that.
How do we know, or how does the city know, how does the taxpayer know, the citizens that vote for everybody up here, how do they know that we're doing what we're supposed to do as a police department? I mean, because every meeting we talk about the water department, and we talk about the sewers, and we talk about the streets, but we never talk about the police department. And that seems like this is where all these things are coming from. It's time to address them.
You know, it's easy to make that an agenda item for each council meeting. Passed in report, of course, the report that he turns in, you're always welcome to ask any questions about that report that you would like to ask on a monthly basis. And if we need to have an additional meeting that just strictly deals with those issues, we can have a special meeting that deals with those issues. But every officer on duty is required to keep a log of the activity that he's involved in during the day, and those logs are available for you to view at the police department.
Okay. You know, and don't misunderstand me, anybody. I'm pro-police, bottom line, but I'm not I'm totally against selective policing. I don't go for that. And when somebody calls me and tells me that they call the police and they're referred to the municipal court, I have to ask, why do we keep doing that over and over and over? I mean, did something change where we don't say, okay, let me take your report nowadays?
I'll refer that to the chief.
I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. We do have a system in place that if you have a situation where a neighbor calls and says, my neighbor plays loud music all the time, right? Or my neighbor's dog gets out all the time, or some sort of complaint like that that doesn't require, it's not necessarily a criminal matter. We do have a form now that we can give them that goes directly to city court, and they can deal with it directly. If it's a criminal matter, of course, then we need to deal with that. Some of these you get to, or I can't think of another example. He pushed me and she pushed me or something, and there's no video, there's nothing, it's just a simple push. That can be referred to city court as well. For them to, you fill out a form, a complaint, it goes to city court, they call you in, both sides tell their story. But without a particular person or whatever, I can't tell you exactly what happened in that case.
So if somebody calls you at night and says, the neighbors are playing their music too loud, then you tell them to go fill out a form or?
No, that would.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand that.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it's designed really for the ones that the neighbors argue with each other all the time. You know, that's what it's really kind of designed for.
But there are laws on that.
Sure.
So why would we refer them to the court? I mean, we're police officers. We have a unit, we have a whole police department here. We've given everything that's been asked of the city for the second year in a row. Car after car, dollar after dollar, officer after officer. But it seems like the more we're given, the less we're receiving. The city has ordinances against, I mean, hundreds of things that are crimes. Curfew for one. I mean, we don't enforce that.
If we catch them after abuse, we do, of course, absolutely.
You know, we have a problem at the park, right? And the problem's gone on for a long time. It's just compounded because there's more equipment out there now. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that, we're delayed on this thing because of the vandalism to the equipment, but on some of the equipment, they yanked the wiring out of it, and we couldn't use the equipment for a day. That's a whole day, not to mention a bunch of money. But what are we doing to improve that, the patrolling of the park?
The park is, one of the problems with that construction area is it is blocked off at night, so you can't get in there. The guys who did that damage went in on foot from somewhere else and got in there.
There's a road behind it.
Yes.
It
but
goes
you
right
can't-
into it.
Yes, yes. And again, you have, at any one time, you have two officers working on normal, and they'll be somewhere in the city, and they're not gonna be everywhere, you simply can't. So,
You're saying they simply can't go do it?
I simply cannot be everywhere at the same time.
I understand. That brings up my next thing. I'm gonna say a week or so ago, a guy called me up, and the guy can't stand me, so for him to call me, he has to be serious. He says somebody's trying to get into his car and then into his home. Okay, and he calls the police. The police drive by, but they don't stop. The neighbor chases them around the block and catches them and calls the police and says, hey, I got him right here. We can't be everywhere all the time. Understand that. What do we need to do where we can start policing this city properly?
If you'll give me that name or that date, I can look into it. I don't know that one. I didn't hear that call.
And I'm telling you, I'm building a grand finale. I'm telling you. Mental health. I'm embarrassed by this. We have a problem in Karnes County. I hope I can stay together on this one. We have a problem with people with mental health in this community. And everybody out here says how much we care and what we're going to do. And when I find out our police department gives them 10 reasons why they can't do anything to help mental health, we have problems. Big problems. It's part of their job. It's not my job, it's his job. People are killing themselves here in this community. And we're sitting there blaming it on somebody else. And the sheriff's coming over here doing their job. Amanda, I want you to call the DeWitt County tomorrow. I want you to call Yorktown and you ask them how they do their police department and their agreement with the city of DeWitt. Find out how we're going to do that. And I'm going to explain it to them later. But we're going to start getting a better service here. These people are going to get it. I am not anti-police. And I know you guys have a stigma out there about me over it. And it's cool, it's okay. But I'm not. I demand a better department. Every department of the city. And that's all there is to it. And these guys one day are going to realize that I'm right. And they're going to start doing something about it. And I hope it's tonight. Because it's horrible. It really is.
Can I ask the chief to respond to the mental health?
Sure.
So mental health is a very complex issue in the policing. And I don't know the specifics you're talking about. You'd have to tell me exactly. But we are very limited on what we can do as a police officer as far as mental health. So now, there are mental health officers that the sheriff's office has, that they do a lot of that work. We work very closely with them on that. And Mitch and Mara works very closely with them. The sheriff does a really good job on that program. That's something that he champions, and we're very happy with that. But police are a little more strict on what we can do with mental health.
Who has the statutory authority from the state of Texas to work mental health cases?
Well, yes, you have to have a mental health officer. The county has that.
That's what I said, who has it?
Yeah, the sheriff.
The county,
actually
the
has that.
county has that.
Yeah.
They also have a fast track. Any police officer, anybody can take a mentally ill person to a hospital. But we refuse to do it. And the sheriff's fixing to stop doing it, okay? He's tired. He's not doing it anymore. It's on the way. Because he can't do it. And it doesn't cost the city of Kenedy anything. It doesn't cost the taxpayers of Kenedy anything. It just makes sure that we turn people over to somebody that's going to help them. When our people call, when our people take their times and they do these jobs to work with mentally ill people, and they're getting, I don't know, they're getting beaten on. And we don't have time to go over there, there's a problem. We all talk about working together. What have we done to work with the county? Nothing. I have a good relationship with the county.
We have monthly meetings on mental health that I attend with the sheriff's office and with Community Route. I spoke to her today, as a matter of fact, helped her out with a client today. So we do work with them when we can. There are some things we can do, some things we can't. Anything we can do to help, we definitely.
Priority. We have to prioritize in the city of Kenedy from today forward.
Do you have any plans to train a mental health officer in the department?
Not at the moment. We can look at it, but it's not something that was on my list to do.
Chief, I don't know if you've ever received these images, but I want you to have them. I really want you to have them because it's not good for people to do things like this. And when it's law enforcement officers, it's even worse. I'm gonna let you have these. You can take a look at those. And you can read through them at your leisure, and then you decide if you've made the right decision over there with these people. You know, we had a firearm stolen That was a violation of not one part of the policy, but two. You sat in that chair, and your exact words, "He paid dearly."
He did.
He was promoted a week later.
He's not promoted.
He was not promoted. He was
Okay.
transferred to another
And
area.
the transfer was already
Okay.
in progress.
Okay, and you'll see what I'm getting at when you read through those. Where are we at on that? Did we find that piece of that gun?
We recovered the upper receiver, not the lower receiver.
You didn't find the piece with the serial number?
No, not yet.
Is it still listed as active stolen? in the-
Still, if it pops up anywhere, we'll recover it. Part that did not have the serial number, we recovered.
We had an incident at the school the other day. What time does our school resource officer go to work?
She's 8 to 5, except when the school, unless the school needs it.
What does our agreement say? Does it say, I thought I read in there, it says, the city of Kennedy is to provide a peace officer on the days that the children, the students attend school. Does it say that? So was she there on Friday of that incident?
No,
Do we have any idea why she wouldn't be there?
yes. She was in training at a school safety conference.
Okay, why was there no officer there?
We didn't have a backup for that on that particular day. The school was notified she would not be there, that she was going to a conference that day.
When I sign an agreement, I hold that agreement. It said we'd have an officer
It
there.
also says if it's more than, I think it's 3 days.
Okay, that's not good. If we don't have a patrol officer, what do we do? Not patrol? We're talking about the school, and you just tell me we didn't have one? Well,
She
you
was
could have
at
went.
her training that
He
day.
could have went. Anybody could have went. To sit here and, I mean, people have went through hoops to make this happen between the city and the school. And then for us to not,
Which incident are we talking about? I'm lost.
for us to not follow through on what we told them we're gonna do.
No,
And
I'm
we only
serious.
been in it
There's
a
been
month.
many incidents. Did an incident happen
They
Friday?
locked the school down Friday.
With that, talking about when the kid hit and took off, took off running the porch, they did lock down the school.
Yes.
And I understand
We called the
that.
school. And
Yes, I understand that your resource has to go get training, and if it's in the contract, we can't just amend it on site just to certify. I mean, they do stuff at the school and follow policy that needs to be taken care of. Lockdown's one of them. The fact of the matter is, when did they receive the information, other stuff. I mean, we can't be blaming the police department for stuff that was already pre-planned and sent to school. They knew about it. This incident happened when she's not there. They're out patrolling. Do they send an officer straight over there thinking, oh, this is gonna happen? They're already tied up doing other stuff. Did you not have another officer on duty? Could you have called
Yeah, we
one
have
in?
patrol duty. We
Okay, you have
patrol
pro officers. And what were they doing at the time?
They were chasing this guy that ran up.
Okay. So, I mean, we can bash the police department all day long till they're black and blue, or we could try to train them to get better at what they're doing. Bashing doesn't get us anywhere, and unfortunately, the situation happened. Monday morning, they were there with the incident that happened over the weekend. They said there was going to be heavy security that was there. They lived up to that, to what they said they were going to do. I understand.
But you know it was because the sheriff, they managed to
Oh.
be there?
Okay, I don't know what he just said. I'm not bashing
let's
anybody.
finish
I have
that.
results.
It
I'm
sounds like
gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and read a letter real quick.
Page. I want
I'm
people
not
to
here
provide
kidding.
the jobs.
No, Leslie, no.
Give
I
them
want
more
to do the
staff and
jobs
everything will
that they're
be
paid. We have given them more staff.
apparently not enough.
Are they talking out of turn, or can we
Yes,
can we
they are.
get somebody that's on the list here?
Okay,
I'm not
carry
gonna be
on.
putting up
I'm
with
gonna carry
this.
on with my stuff here.
'Cause,
Here's the,
And then he's first and then you go to.
You can go first, man.
you know,
You're more important
listen,
than me.
I understand that
Because we're gonna make a point
we
here.
make a lot of
Go
public
ahead, man, you can go
appearances,
first.
and I appreciate those things. But these are things that they should be priority. We should take care of those things.
But you're not God.
Ma'am, you can go first.
Can I read the letter, please, Ms. Barrera, if you don't
Here's
mind?
here's one that I really hate to even tell you about, and if you need me to stop, let me know. Anytime somebody commits suicide, law enforcement is to treat that as a murder.
Absolutely true.
We didn't do that with this last one, did we?
Absolutely did.
So the Rangers were contacted on the day that you
Absolutely.
said?
Next day,
The next day.
absolutely.
So we didn't rule that a suicide?
No, it's still
And
considered.
find out from the medical examiner
It
that
is.
it wasn't?
It is still an active investigation.
Yeah, we got problems here, big problems with this town. That's all I'm done.
Is
Brandon,
that-
I've read the letters, Brandon, I forwarded them to the chief, I told him about them, I commend them for doing those things. I want them to do their job. These are our kids, that's it.
And
These
I
are really young
understand,
people.
I
I'm not
understand
trying
the
to
kids
be
are a
guys.
priority, but, okay, I'm gonna read a letter that I received. I'm not gonna release the name, but it says, "I grew up here in Kenedy and left and moved to San Antonio. My husband and I moved back about 8 years ago. We do not live in the city limits of Kenedy and are not able to vote, voice our concerns as being a citizen of Kenedy. However, we do, however, trade, pay bills, and participate in Kenedy events. I'm sharing my views and opinions as a productive citizen. In the last 8 years, I saw little involvement with the police department and wouldn't have known the police chief if I had met him on the street. I know the police officers are very disciplined and sometimes have to do their job under difficult circumstances. They spend many holidays away from their families and miss out on school functions. Since Chief Ash took over, I have seen a huge push of community involvement. Everywhere you look, the local police department is involved. They share a great deal of information on their Facebook page, letting the community know what is happening, from street closures to suspicious activities. The department is involved in all community functions, from handing out turkey dinners to Christmas presents, and share these activities within the community. Last year during National Night Out, police cooked and served hot dogs and trimmings to the local community. My husband and I were helping alongside these dedicated individuals. During the event, you can see the camaraderie with this department. In December, the department had an annual awards night and added a visit from Santa and Miss Claus. The officers and their children were handed out gifts. My husband and I were the Clauses. We observed the officers and their families visiting with each other and enjoying the event. In summary, we have seen more positive things happen in Kenedy in the last year than the 7 previous years since I've been back home. I would like to acknowledge Chief Ash and his staff on the exceptional work they have done in the last year, and can't wait to see what lies ahead in the future.
Brandon, I emailed that to you.
Well, it was written.
Jesus.
So then you're lying about who wrote the letter? You just made a name in there? Why
Yes,
is it
Miss
a lie
Walston.
then?
Miss Walston.
And that's
Okay.
not bashing?
That's
No, I'm
so.
not bashing anyone.
So then
That's
you're,
bashing.
Can we,
so if you wrote this letter, then you're using someone's name in place of it with no permission.
No,
we
Brandon,
discuss-
she sent me the
You just told
letter.
me, hold on, you just told me you wrote the letter.
No.
So then she like,
No,
he
no.
said he sent you
Oh,
the
mighty
letter.
minutes.
All right.
Hey, do we have a list of the
All right, but
reserve
that's-
officers? Do we have a list that was approved by the city council along with their budget from the last year, the police department's budget?
Do you
Because that's
have-
what our
do you have
ordinance calls
reserve
for.
officers right now?
I have 2 reserve officers, yes.
And I'm waiting for the mayor to.
We need a list from them. Well, I mean, that's what the ordinance calls for, is a list.
I wonder who they are.
I sent
And
it
it
to
needs
the
to be
manager.
approved by the council when they submit their budget each and every year. Anyway, yes,
Ms. Barrera would like to.
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
on other public
I just wanted to speak on behalf of the incident on Friday with the lockdowns. We knew that that Officer Amanda was not there, Officer Fanny was not there with us on that day, so Chief contacted me directly, immediately, when he found out that there could be a threat. So at that time, we contacted the campuses, and in less than 2 minutes, all the doors were locked, kids were inside, nobody could come in or out. So in the agreement that we signed, there are going to be times where she's not going to be there last minute. She has kids, but we knew that this was training, and so we knew she wasn't going to be there. This is what we had before. Knowing that, we did what we were trained to do, and the plan that we do have in place, and everything went fine, and we were safe. We did not feel that we were at a disadvantage because she wasn't there. We kept everybody safe. And Chief Ash and I were in constant communication that day, those 10 minutes, 15 minutes, where are we? And together we decided it was time that we could lift the lockdown. So, I also would like to add that the incident that happened that following Saturday, the next day, it occurred, I got a call at 10:45 in the evening from one of my staff members, that she heard from another staff member that there was this threat, there was names. It was 10:45 on a Saturday night. I had just put on my pajamas to watch Netflix. I wasn't expecting that. So I called Chief, or actually, but I was getting ready to call him, he calls me on the phone. So we talk, this is what we're gonna do, okay? They had already started on it. That night, they went to visit with the family, with that student. So we decided to put out a statement. I think it was around midnight. That's not typical for a school district. I decided to do that because the community was up in arms. Parents were calling, texting, messaging me on Facebook, and it's social media, but it's a way for me to communicate with my community. And so I was glad that they felt they could tell me about that and share it with me. So I knew there was a panic. So we put out that statement. That statement that we put out that said the police was already working on it and actively working the case, everybody relaxed. People could go to bed. The next day, we had a resolution. I got a call, the student was detained, and everything else that I put in my statement. And that's not anything that we're happy about or proud of, but we hope the student gets help. But the biggest thing, people weren't going to come to school. Parents said, we're not sending our kids. So with that quick resolution, we were able to carry on school the next day, and to wrap everything up with a bow, Chief and his staff, the two other staff members, and Officer Fanning, they came to our assembly that we had with our students the next day. It was something to behold to have our men in uniform right there, backing us up, making kids know, assuring them that they were safe. So I was very proud of that, mostly because when I first got here, almost 2 years ago, everyone said, we don't work with the city, call the sheriff. And I said, but the city's right here. Why wouldn't we not call the city? We never work well with the city. We just don't worry about it. It's old stuff. I don't even want to tell you about it, but don't call. And I said, no, this is our resource. They're right here. So I have worked on a relationship with the chief, with the whole department, and I'm very proud of that. Because they come to us, we call them for anything, they've been very responsive. So I have nothing but great things to say from my perspective about the police department, Chief Ash. And I just wanted to clarify on that incident on Friday.
So when your officer that's there, I didn't remember her name, but when she's not there, you're okay with not having anybody there?
Well, our agreement said that if it's a last minute thing and it's one day, if it's going to be more than 3 days, like an extended time, then they will send somebody. They might send somebody if they could, but I was happy that they were looking for the guy on foot, the guys on foot. They were better served doing that than with us. We were safe. We were good.
I was just wondering what that timeline was, how long they were out.
I think it's 3 days that, but she was at a training actually, learning about, her job, so.
What time do the students get there in the morning?
It varies, 7:30, 7:15, 7:45.
Who conducts traffic?
We don't conduct traffic anymore. We haven't done that. We've called when we've needed it.
I mean, we have a resource officer there, but the schedule's 8 to 5, and our students are showing up at 7:30. I just figured that we would want the officer there before the students got there. I don't know. Maybe I misunderstand what
And I
we're
assumed 8
doing
to
up there.
5. No, it's 8 to 4 actually, and that was something that Dr. Brewer and I talked about when we did this. Did we want to start a little earlier? We wanted to start a little later. Our emphasis more was having the officer there at the end of the day, so we adjusted that way. We talked about it. If the sheriff feels we need to adjust that, we'd be happy to do that.
And if we need something in the morning, we just call and somebody will come. We know that. But generally with students, things tend to happen in the afternoon more than in the morning. They're still good, they're happy in the morning, in the afternoon, after school, things get a little hectic. So
if you ever feel like you need to change the time, you feel comfortable
Oh,
talking to the
absolutely.
chief, and you guys will discuss
Yes,
it. If you
ma'am.
need somebody there earlier, you think
Yes,
the chief
ma'am.
would do that.
Yes, ma'am. And I need to say, we've been very pleased with her. She is patrolling, walking around, talking to the kids, done a great job. I'm glad that she's there, and I want to continue with this partnership. But there's going to be some times where she's not going to be there. Was it unfortunate that it was on that day? Absolutely. It is what it is. She was at training, we can't plan these things. But I felt safe. We were in constant communication, and I would rather have the other officers patrolling and looking for the bad guy than in the school with us. So.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I think you owe the chief an apology, don't you?
Can we,
He can leave. I don't-
can we proceed?
But you should apologize.
You can stay, well, you don't have to leave. Can I proceed? You can stay.
Oh.
You don't need
We
to.
have to provide the best service that we can provide.
I want you to
That's
hear
not the best
something.
Service that we can provide.
I want you to hear something, yes, ma'am?
Hey, that's fine.
Because, I want y'all to
Do we
hear
have anybody
something.
signed up for public comment?
Yes.
I,
That's all said.
I forgot to give you your pen back, by the way.
no, it's okay, don't worry about the pen, it's just a pen. Mr. Ash, nobody's here to bash you, sir. Nobody has that right to bash you. And the mayor is being accused of bashing you. Nobody's bashing you, sir. I have a lady here that's lived here a long time. She can speak for herself, of course, and she's not signed up, but that's the deal where, Mr. Brandon, I appreciate you listening to me the other day, saying what I really do. What I'm fixing to say here is not here to offend anybody. We got our coach here, we have our principal, we have Dr. Barrera, assistants from the school. We have some important people here that maybe need to come here more often. The deal with the police department, I've been here 27 years. People have been here all their lives, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, so on and so on. I think, this happened about a month ago, just about a little month ago. It's not my job, I'm not a police officer. I've broken the laws a lot or whatever, and maybe at one time I could have been a police officer, I don't know. But it's not my job, and I'm not trying to tell you how to run your department, so I'll never do that. But I do have an issue when we have a couple, should I say, because I'm going to tell y'all exactly what happened. This is just one. The issue with the school, I think a lot of parents were, maybe the next day when they found out that everything was okay and so on, but it just came out in the paper the other day that there was a soft lockdown. I asked our manager, I asked other police departments, I have friends, like we all do, attorneys, detectives, doctors, lawyers, and so on. I have a brother that's been in the police department over 40 years. I have a friend that's been narcotics, whatever, so on. So I asked questions, hey, can you tell me what a soft lockdown is? To me, a lockdown is a lockdown. Now, it's very important, like Mr. Leslie said, that is our school. Those are our kids. Those are our grandkids. I mean, we have kids there. We have grandkids. And when I say, or when I ask, what is a soft lockdown, there's no answer. A lockdown to me is a lockdown. Now, the officer, which we know where she came from, she came from the county. We know all of that. She's as far as I'm concerned, she's doing a fine job. I've never met her personally. She was on training. I didn't know. It's not my business. But when we're talking about patrolling, and I want to get to the point as far as what happened with that incident that I'm going to tell you all about. Patrolling means patrolling. When we say that, well, we couldn't go in there, we couldn't get in the area, no, you can get off and walk like those burglars that I went after that day were walking in the park, in and out or whatever, and I was there when they walked out of the park at 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, and our police officers sat with me. I'm not going to bring up no names because they know who they are. You can get off your vehicle and walk in the park. You have guns, you have cameras, you have spotlights, you have bulletproof vests, you have everything like our mayor has suggested as far as what's been provided to him. No, we don't want our cops, our officers, anybody be in danger, no. I mean, they have, now my deal is with, I know, and we spoke about this, and I know for a fact, is if you have a job and you committed a crime, I want y'all to listen to this. It's not a police officer, I'm talking about, for instance, me, or just, if you commit a crime at your job, you're gonna thank your boss, your superior, whatever, say, hey, you know what, you can no longer work here because of what you did, the crime that you did, you broke the rules, or so on and so on. We are going to give you the right to resign. You need to sign here. You can no longer work here, but you can continue your career somewhere else, and we'll leave it alone, and God bless you, good luck to you, and so on and so on. And that's what's been happening. And I'm not, let's get this clear. This corresponds to the ones that they know who it corresponds to. No, we cannot have no Cracker Jack box background checks. The state of Texas is not going to tell me, or nobody's going to tell me the state of Texas knows exactly what the police officers did, their background, this, that. No, they're not. Because when you get terminated, or when you get released because you can resign from another town because you did a sexual harassment, or you did a racial deal, or you attacked somebody, or you shot up something, or you attacked your girlfriend, broke a fence down, almost run into the house, and nobody's going to know about that, but you're going to get hired somewhere else. I know for a fact. I know when stuff like that has happened. Okay? I'm not bashing nobody. Listen. But that night, about a month ago, when I wake up to a noise about 1 o'clock, let's say about 1 o'clock in the morning, it sounds like a diesel truck. I've got a neighbor in the back, he's a welder. I know when he leaves in the morning, he leaves about 4:30, 4 o'clock, he's going to work. It's at 1 o'clock in the morning. I look out, there's a ATV pointing down the Escondido Creek, that's where I live. I said, that's not right. Are they hunting? Are they, what's going on? Now, we all have the right, if you do have permission, or you can conceal a weapon or whatever, you have the right to protect your family. I've got the right to do that, and I will do it. I'm protecting my family. By the time I come to the front door, they're coming back towards my trailer house, my mobile home. Almost runs over the dog. The dog is, I mean, he's taking care of me. I mean, he takes good care of us. I mean, I wish he could talk so he could tell y'all what goes on there. It's funny, right, Mr. Leslie? But I'm serious. Okay, and I'm getting to the point. Lights are off. Jumps the barricade, goes south, across the bridge, Escondido Bridge, and goes towards Pullen Street. I make a phone call. I'm on my way to the park. Okay, I'm going to go down Pullen Street. I don't need to do these guys, but he came too close to my house. That's my wife. That's my granddaughter. That's, hey, you know, whatever. That's my family. Okay? So by the time I get to Pullen Street, I go back over there where the people live, and they come out, hey, what's, I said, I have no idea, but they just did this. At that time, the police officer shows up. I'm not going to mention the name, he knows. They log in, they don't log in, you don't know about it. I don't know if you did or not, but this is just one incident. There's a couple more when somebody almost got rolled over with a machine at that park, and I called it. I would have rather seen somebody get arrested, get brought to the attention, instead of having all over there, because the guy's underneath the machine dead. So I think I might have saved somebody's lives. Okay. So we go on, I take off towards the park. I'm not a police officer, but I want to know who in the hell drove so close to my house, what their intentions were or what. And I'm upset about it, but I mean, I just want to get things clear here on this, because this can happen anywhere. Like you said, our school, for instance, this and that. I mean, anything can happen like that. Okay, it's just the way it is. Go to the park. I go around. I go down Wells Fargo as far as the park can reach, as far as you can drive in there, whatever. I'm saying, well, you know what? Hey, this is not your job, man. I'm still thinking. I want to know what's going on. Why is this individual or individuals doing that? Police officers are stationed there with me. Are you the one that was there? Yes, sir, it's me. It was over there. 2 kids. At 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, at the entrance of the park, are walking out of the park with hoods on. and the police officers are speaking to me. The officer asked the other officer, hey, did these kids just come out of there? Yeah, they did. I'm like, okay. Kept on walking, kept on walking. They passed McDonald's, kept on walking. I told the guys, I'll see y'all later. Be safe, whatever. Call us next time if there's something going on. I'm not going to call you, but I'm not going to call no more. I've called several times. Kids kept walking. Were they addressed or not? Or what? I have no idea. I know who the kids are. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know who the kids are, okay? But I'm going to leave it up to the police department because that's their job, and they will get to it. I have confidence in that, Mr. Bash. I do. I'm not here to bash you. But my concern was the safety of my family. Next day in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I get up. I'm still. My wife goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'll be right back." Go to the park. During the day, you can see a little bit. Sunlight's coming up. I get to the park. Construction people are coming in. They're unloading a flatbed trailer. I spoke to the gentleman, the project manager, Mr. Johnny Cash. I was like, wow, okay. Mr. Cash, good morning. I'm here. I'm not a police officer, but is that your ATV, this park right there? Does that belong to you? He said, no, sir, it's not. As a matter of fact, I was just going to check and see if anybody's dead or sleeping there or what. I went back to John Deere. I asked the gentleman that was opening up the gates there, I said, are y'all missing an ATV? Any chance? He goes, as a matter of fact, something is wrong. I just went back there. There's a big hole in the fence and everything. And I said, I just found your ATV. I found it. I found it, not the police officers. The police officers, I think, as safe as they can be because they need to be safe also. Fire department needs to be safe. Our city hall here needs to be safe. Everybody needs to be safe. They could have walked inside the park and did something about that. That's what I think.
If it's not reported, how would they know?
What's our curfew?
That's my other point.
What's the curfew, Chief?
11 o'clock during the week, 11 o'clock during the week and midnight on Friday and Saturday.
So those guys, they broke curfew?
If they were juveniles, yes.
Well, I mean, juvenile or juveniles, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, whatever, they did something dangerous, something wrong, they broke the law, they did something, and
Did you see it?
Okay,
Then I see what?
we're gonna close public comment at this time.
We got one.
Do we have anybody
I have
else?
one more.
Hey, I got one more, Richard.
Go ahead,
James
Mr. Ashton.
Douglas.
James Douglas.
I just want to comment on a few things that was said. For those of you that don't know me, I've been in law enforcement almost 14 years. I've been a teacher at the school district for almost 5. 4 of those teaching criminal justice. Personally, I don't feel like this is the forum to go through all this list of things that could have easily been addressed if citizens would have filed a complaint with an officer. It's a simple process. If you disagree with an officer for whatever reason, you go, you talk to that department head and you file a complaint.
I have done that several
It's
times.
very similar to what school districts do. You know, I do something inappropriate or wrong and a parent doesn't like it or complains, they follow a grievance procedure. It's a pretty simple process. I will say this about Chief Ash. The almost 4 years that I've taught criminal justice at Kenedy, since he's been here, it's been amazing. I call him with a question, hey, can y'all do this for us? Can y'all do this? A student of mine that's doing a practicum, you know, anything I need, he answers his phone almost immediately. Not once has he never returned a call. He's done more for me teaching criminal justice than any chief that's been here before. Before, I could call the chief, oh yeah, we can do it, never hear back from him. Chief Ash, in my opinion, is doing an amazing job. One last thing I want to leave all of you with. I know what it's like to drive a patrol car. I know what it's like to put a badge on. I still do. I'm a reserve officer for Karn City. And there's many times when I leave home and you know what? I tell my son I love him. I tell my spouse I love him. Because you don't know what's going to happen. It's easy to look on the outside and say, well, that officer should have done this, that officer should have done that. But I can tell you, unless you've been in that patrol car, unless any of you have signed up to do a ride-along with the police department, if you do that, it's not like what you see on TV. It's not like cops. It's not like live PD. It's very different. And when you're faced with making split-second decisions, it's not always easy. One last thing I'll leave you with, most of the time we have 1 or 2 officers on patrol at any given time, and there's almost 3,000 people in Kenedy. Community policing that Chief Ash has brought in has done amazing things. Community policing is huge, because when your community works with the police department, for the first time we had National Night Out here, that was awesome. I was there. Any of you were there? Some of you were. Some of you were. I was there. And some of the biggest questions that have come up could have easily been resolved that night when you saw all the people interacting with the police department. So, my challenge to you, if you have questions about how the police department's run, if you have questions about how the school district's run, or any concerns or complaints, sign up and do a ride-along. Come to the school and see what I'm doing in my classroom. I love when people come to my classroom. I teach my kids about criminal justice every day that we have school. Ask some of them, they'll tell you. That's all I got.
I want to finish real quick, and I'm leaving.
Okay.
My challenge is this: it's going to get better. Criminal justice, yes. I know exactly what he's saying. It is true what the gentleman is saying. It just needs to get better. That's all. It just needs to get better. Somebody's going to get hurt. I don't know. It just needs to get better. When you're at home, Mr. Ash, yes, you need to, we all need to sleep. We all need to get ready to go to work next day, or so on and so on. But all I'm saying is that sometimes it's just not. I mean, I'm just speaking on myself. I don't know about anywhere else or any neighborhood is safe or what, but I'm just saying in that section, we have the, and Mario Andretti's on that side, flying down 2102, 300 miles an hour, and you have the Richard Petty's on 5th Street, driving from the Foley stop sign to the Escondido Bridge, 200 miles an hour. When we put those speed limit signs, I think we need to put them both ways so you can get the average of what we spoke about last time, that they were in accordance with those speed limits. It's not. And that's all I can tell you on that.
Where are we at on the, we got a movement or anything? Okay. I mean, if you guys think that I'm the only, maybe I'm the only one people call. Maybe they don't tell you anything. And I've heard what everybody said, and I heard about National Night Out, and that's great. And I say that's great that you guys do make public appearances, but while everybody else is doing that, that doesn't say that doesn't alleviate these people having these problems. They're not going to call me and just say, hey, I got hit with a stick and I called the cops and they told me that if I'm lying to them, I'm going to get a ticket. Those things still occurred. No matter how good anybody thinks we're doing up here, those things still occurred. But people still call me.
That was a year ago now.
Does it matter when it was?
Yeah, it was like right after.
Okay, so if I pull out a video and show you one of your officers when they had tasers allowing somebody else to use that and play, and the confetti went flying, it wouldn't matter. But it wouldn't matter.
It was before my time.
But it wouldn't matter that they're in your department to this day.
If you have,
But it wouldn't matter because it was a year ago. That's my problem. If people complain to me, my job is to bring it to the city council.
Bring it to, if you have a complaint, bring it. If you have
You
somebody
told me
that
not
know.
to the day I met you.
You can send it to
No,
me.
sir, you told me not
You
to.
can give it to the city manager, give it to me, however you wish.
You directed me to the city manager. That's exactly what you did. I
Yes.
said one thing to you and you said, tell the city manager. I said, oh, from this day forward, I will do that. And that's what I've done.
If you
I
have,
used to send you the good stuff though by email.
if you have specific, if you believe one of my officers is doing something illegal, immoral, unethical, bring it to me.
I just gave you some paperwork.
You gave me pictures of stuff from,
They're
that
still
I've
in your
seen
department.
before.
They're still in your department.
You did nothing.
They work in your
And as far
department.
as I know, none of that was illegal.
Okay. I'll bring you videos then.
Again, something illegal.
I'll bring you videos. I mean, I'm not gonna ignore when people call me.
I should have signed up to talk.
Send
You
them
can
to
speak
me.
if you'd like.
Send them to me.
Whoever said that they can speak if they'd like.
Can you add me? I'm born and raised here, and not because, I don't care who's the shooter, we've had issues all the time. I've seen Mr. Sun issues where one of your officers sits at the cemetery, took a picture, sent it to him. The other day I was cruising around, weekend, police officer way at the school, sitting down, just chilling. Passed. I even drove in there. What's the use of going to complain? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it. That's what every other people have done. Because y'all back each other up. Thanksgiving Day, I was on 5th Street with family. This man came out, was beating his kid with the belt. I mean, beating him. I didn't call, even though I was supposed to call. My cousin called. Carnes, the 911, they called. Officer, same officer, showed up. So you could look at who was on duty Thanksgiving Day. Same officer showed up, parked on 5th Street, walked to the ad to the back. People from Houston, Texas, they're working here. Went in and got his little investigation, came back. Didn't want to explain it to me, but explained it to the family member from Austin, Texas. And he came back and said, well, that man said that y'all were cursing at him. I said, if telling him that's enough and stop it is cursing at him, then give us the ticket. Because all we directed to that man is, that's enough. The guys were sitting over here and they could hear where the belt was hitting that child. We saw everything. When the belt hit and when it and moved back, nothing was done. Officer came back, case closed, he's gone. This child was still left in that house. It's constantly, and what's the use of reporting? What's the use of sending stuff, and it doesn't, nothing gets done.
We're gonna close public comment. Again, I listen to what everybody in here says, and that's great. But I'm not gonna ignore when people call me. The things that I said, they're true, and they did happen. And people have contacted me about it over and over and over. And my phone's going, the city phone is going crazy because people are watching the video. And they're, hey, let them know about this. I try to give you all the email I can. You guys know I share a lot of emails with you. I sent you when Miss Barrera commended them, I sent you that letter right away. I sent the one for Miss Walston. When they do good stuff, I communicate with you guys. But just because somebody stands up and says, well, they made a public appearance and they did great at the school, doesn't mean that they're going to slack on the rest of the job. The job is the job. We sat right here in this room and I had 32 questions written down, and most of you were with me. And Chief asked me, hey, are you trying to talk me out of the job? I said, no, sir. I want you to know what you're getting into here. This is serious. Do you remember that conversation?
Right.
And what did you tell me? You said, oh, yeah, no, I can handle it. And he said,
We can.
It doesn't look that way. That's my problem. It doesn't look that way.
As I've told you numerous times, if you have specific things for me to address, what I can't deal with, somebody told me a rumor about something. I can't deal with that. Send me somebody I can talk to, and I will talk to them about their problem.
I told you the other day what I was told, and what was your answer to me? Oh, that's going to be hard to prove.
I don't remember what you were
It's going to be hard to prove when I told you I know who
Oh,
was
yes,
first.
yeah. But
And what did you say? But if we don't even go talk to somebody,
No.
we've already given up.
Again, that's not what we said. I said, yes, we may know who they are, but trying to prove it is more difficult.
No, you said that's
that is
going to be hard to
exactly-
prove. You said it right here in City Hall.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I do communicate with you. It doesn't change the fact that people complain to me. And they're entitled to do that. And a lot of the
Absolutely.
things they say are true. I've experienced it myself. I call the police and the dispatch tells me you only have one officer on duty and it's a Saturday night.
It's possible.
And we can't make it out. And I'm like, okay, we have to do better than that as a police department.
I mean, that's it. I could
We've given
only
you
staff
everything
so
you've
many people.
asked for. Everything that you've asked for, this council.
I have yet to ask for more bodies, and we are still holding up their merit pay, which is also causing an issue too. So,
You gave two of them merit pay raises or rate increases.
we gave one person who came off probation a raise for their getting off probation.
After
Their merit
council
pays are
said
still
don't
being
give
held.
until evaluated and approved. Anyway, I'm done on that subject. It's up to you guys what you want to do in the next meeting, but now you're aware of everything that goes on. And it's not like you haven't had the emails before, so you do know. But every meeting we sit here and talk about the water department. We talk about the streets department. So now you're aware of the police department. I need a motion for recess, please.
I'll make a motion for a recess.
Thank you.
This is discuss.
This time we're going to reconvene in open session. Okay, so item number 12, I'm done with it for today. You guys can decide if you want to have a meeting and visit on it, if there's anything you want to do. If you think we're providing the best service possible, if you're content with what we're getting, but now everybody's clearly aware. Item number 13, consideration and possible action regarding time management for the City of Kenedy departments, including hourly and salaried employees.
I'll make a motion, we consider agenda item number 13.
And I'll second it.
Okay, we have how many employees on salary right now?
4.
Okay, so if they come to work or not, are they compensated?
They have to work harder than to be compensated.
Okay. If an hourly person doesn't come to work, do they get compensated?
No.
Okay. If Marin Cantu, the streets department guy, was to come in for 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day and then not return, would that be okay?
It would not be okay, but I think under FLSA, he would still be compensated.
Okay. I get complaints because Amanda's our secretary. She's a statutory position. She's got to be here. And I've gotten more complaints on that than I've ever seen before. Are we coming to work when we're supposed to be at work? Are all of our people that are on salary coming to work when they're supposed to be coming to work?
To my knowledge, yes, they are.
Okay. How are we keeping up with time right now when they're in and out?
Usually they're telling me, if they're salaried, they're telling me, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go take care of that, I'm gonna go to the bank, I'm gonna go here, and they go run that area and come back.
Okay. How are we keeping up with people, with employees when they're on the clock and when they're off the clock?
Paper.
Paper, okay. Do we still have the girls in the front office emailing Amanda saying when they're on and off the clock?
When they go to break and when they go to lunch.
Okay, does anybody in any other department, are they subjected to that? And I ask because he just got through telling us a month ago we couldn't have one group do this and the other not do it.
That was something Barbara set up when I went on maternity leave because she could have watched them from the back. So she sent an email that they needed to start emailing when they went on break and when they went on lunch, and they just never stopped doing it.
Yeah, but she hasn't been here in 4 months.
She hadn't been to, they never stopped.
But he just warned us and we're still doing that. Why are we still doing that if our own attorney told us that we couldn't do that?
I think that was among the
System.
well,
The-
yeah.
the biometric.
Yeah, you can't. With regard to hourly employees, they need to either clock in or verify their time, regardless of what departments they're in. That is what I meant about non-discrimination, because I think there was something came up about
Because we were
a
going to
certain
do,
department
we were going
wanted
to
to
do
do
the,
something,
yeah, right.
or something different. Now you got to treat everybody the same when it comes to hourly employees. That is correct.
And when are we gonna have our time clock?
They're working on it right now.
Yeah, pretty quick. We're working with the company building the program
Okay.
that has to be built for the system to work. We're getting ready to have the lines put in. We've got those ordered, I think, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're hoping to go live in the first week of February.
so we're that close to having that system go live. It's just been a matter of working with Time Clock Plus to get, as you know, the employee list, the jobs, all of that lined out so we track people correctly. And I think we've gotten to the end of that, and it's now we're having the stuff installed, and we'll start doing the training.
Okay, so first week of February, we should be online? Okay.
When I spoke with the guy yesterday.
That's what their estimate is. If everything goes well, that's when we should go live.
Okay. Do you think there's a value to these 4 employees being on salary for the city of Kenedy? Are we receiving a value by having that?
Oh, absolutely.
So we wouldn't benefit if we had them hourly?
You might, in one or two instances, you might. I don't think you ever want your city manager position to be an hourly position.
I don't either. No, I don't
you want
think
your
we
city
do.
secretary to be an hourly position. I think that one needs to be a salaried position so they can come and go and do work and do the work outside the building that they need to do without clocking in or clocking out or doing what they need to do as long as they're, keeping track of what's being done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But are we, as long as we do that, that's okay.
Yeah.
But when we're telling, I still don't understand why we only have 4. You
I don't
get what I'm
either,
saying?
because I think you don't have enough.
I just don't understand why, out of everybody in the whole city, there's only one department outside the city hall that's salaried.
We have 2. Chief Ash should be salaried. So you've got in reality, all of your department heads should be salaried employees.
Should be.
I thought they all were at one time. I don't
And
know when that changed.
I don't know if and when that changed in the past. I was surprised that they weren't.
It should be.
But I think they should be salaried employees because they're on call all the time. When their people need them, they need to come.
Right.
And if the work's not done at the end of the day, they need to make sure it gets done before the end of the day. Which means on the flip side of that, if everything's done at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no reason for them not to go on if they've already hit their 40 hours. They just need to be doing the job that needs to be done, and that's what salaried employees are expected to do.
Right. And is that happening?
I think the job's being done that they're expected to do in the time that they put in. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. A while back, I'm gonna say a month ago, I've lived here my whole life, and anytime you have a problem, you're to call City Hall. And usually what would happen year after year is you'd say, it's usually a complaint. Hey, there's ruts in my yard, blah, 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 blah. The guys are over here working on the leak. You think you can get them to come fix it? Yes, I'll make a work order. That's the same thing I've done the whole time I've been here, my whole entire life. When I was elected mayor, I did the same thing. It's not like I get the computer and I write the email, I write the deal out and give it to you. I call City Hall and say, hey, Ms. Jones on the corner is upset about this. She would appreciate if we would go over there and clean up the mess that we created. Thank you very much. Oh, well, I'll make a work order and I'll send it to Department Joe. Well, I did the same thing I've been doing a year and a half, and I get an email from Amanda that says they need to go through her. My work orders need to go through her. I didn't know where that came from, so I came and I found out. And then I guess you said all work orders are gonna go through you. Do we still do that today?
I see on every work order, the girls tell me about every work order, and I see every work order before as it goes into the boxes.
Okay. So if you're not here and somebody calls City Hall and they have a problem, what are the girls supposed to do? Make a work order or not?
They're still gonna make a work order. They just need to tell me about it when they get back.
So there's a water leak, they can't do a work order?
No,
and
they
have
do
it
it. They
fixed?
do a work order, they have it fixed. They just need to let me know, hey, we're out doing this work.
Does that include me?
Does that include you?
Yes.
If you're doing a work order?
If I'm calling City Hall for a work order, does that include me also?
Sure.
Okay.
If you call, they should write up a work order.
Okay.
And if I'm out, then they should just let me know when I come back. Hey, we got an extra work order on a water leak at 5th and Bullet.
Okay. My next thing is, when I say time management, you know, we do projects in town, we do projects at the park, we do projects all over the place. A lot of things are happening, and of course, people, they want to know about it, they're curious, and then they also want to complain. So what I do is I just start looking into it. I go through our ordinances first and try to see what the policy is here. And if I ever have a problem, I let you know, either through email or telephone call or text. And one in particular is ordinance 1213, water extensions, wastewater extensions. It just seems to me that we're making tons of work orders for these two specific addresses. We're spending lots of time and city revenues over there when it's real simple. We made a mistake. We need to own the mistake, and we need to put that property owner back in this position that they were in before the city made their mistake, and tell them what's really going on. We can't keep wasting resources over there because we have people losing water every day that we need to focus on. We need to manage our employees better. And it doesn't matter if anybody at this table likes each other. I'm not gonna wrong somebody just because I might not agree with them all the time. And I'm not gonna hammer them in the ground. But we should never ignore any of our ordinances. And it seems like that's what we're doing. And people sent me pictures of our employees, the city employees, performing service on private property. And I've never seen a city sued in any other way other than damaging someone's property. So I want to know if you're aware of those work orders.
I am.
Can you explain to us what's going on with this?
There was a request for a water sewer locate, and that's what they were doing.
We don't do that on private property.
If that's where the tap is, we'd have to do it on private property.
No.
And we have multiple areas in town where we have water taps and sewer taps that were installed inside somebody's property.
Do you have an easement deed?
I don't know if there's an easement either.
Right. We can't go do work on people's property, private property, because if it is or if it isn't, what it appears to be is we're using these people for ourselves to do private labor. And if we're doing that or if we're not doing that, that's the perception. And when people send pictures, that's hard to challenge. Hey, look. And if I'm standing there watching them, it really looks like that. I mean, we remember when I was driving a city truck, what happened, right? I was driving a city truck, which I'm authorized to do, hauling a van somewhere. And it's nothing but chaos. So if we're the city council, we have to be that much better when it comes to our ordinances. And with that said, if you're aware of the work orders, I'm okay with that. But at the same time, if there's pressure being put on you, I need to know that too.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so then anything that you're doing in violation to the ordinances, you're doing on your own.
Well, sometimes I'm doing it when I talk to the city attorney, and if he says that's not in violation of the ordinance, then we move forward.
Okay. I'm good. But with that being said, I want to make sure that everybody understands the ordinances that I'm talking about because it's ridiculous. It's over and over. That's the labor if you pass that to Adolfo. This is the ordinance and the application. I'm sorry, here's the application. It's pretty clear. That's what needs to happen. If we're issuing permits and we're not supposed to be issuing those permits, somebody's managing that time. We need to make sure that we're doing that. I remember and if we're not qualified to do these jobs, then we don't need to do these jobs. because no matter what anybody thinks, I can't change the ordinance. So are you okay with city employees working on private property?
If I could get legal opinion, it has to be an executive session. But generally, with regard to easements, there's utility easements that are on private property. If it's located, the person doesn't know where the city's connection is. It may be on the property. Usually it's, that is on the property line, sometimes it is not. But if it's a locate, because if the person does it without a locate there, it's a possibility that they damage city property as well as its own. But beyond the locate, if it happens to be on private property, then it's a request. Basically, you're not, the person doesn't want to damage city property, so in a sense, that's fine. As long as the city utility, if it's owns private property, in a sense, it could be an easement that's been recorded a long time ago. Maybe probably people take subject to easements, utility easements, and that's usually a common practice. But if it's located and it happens to be in someone's private property, then I think it's not really a legal opinion per se. It's a protection of the city property, just to make sure that the person doesn't willy-nilly just dig around and hit a city connection where it happens to be on the property. So sometimes you can't control it. You have to be sure where the line is, and there's an obligation on the homeowner who, if they don't know where the line is, to make sure that determine where that is. That may very well be on the property. So that's something that the city cannot control. But it is a practice, I think, that's prudent and reasonable. And again, it's more protection of city property than anything else. And if the person allows them on the property, then it's not a trespass. But I think it's more to the benefit of the city than it is to the person who lives on the property.
And is that specifically for locate?
For a locate, yeah, you want to have that locate, because again, my experience with locate is with other utilities where the water company will dig up before a locate, and they damage a fiber optic cable, or they damage their own pipe because it isn't a place for fiber. So it's always better to have a locate than not. And I think that's...
Well, locate's the law, but anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, usually when I call for locates, this is what happens. They say mark it with a white flags or tape or something that's white. We're gonna come out and we're gonna locate within that area. So there should be an order, right? I know the city of Kenedy, for some odd reason, we've never been connected with 811. We're still not, right? You were not, we never have been, I don't know why, but, and then the city would come out and do their own locate on their lines. But they never dug on private property, not on mine anyway.
Well, sometimes...
But I need some stuff dug, I need to find some lines, so I'm gonna ask the city employees to do it tomorrow. Is that okay?
If they have, a lot of times utilities do not have accurate maps. And if they don't have accurate maps, then it's more prudent to find out where it is. So they don't dig up a big, usually they know much better than I how to locate those lines. And I think it's just for, again, more protection of the city property.
Right, and I'm serious. I have a main, a sewer main and a manhole on my property. and I need them to come dig it up. Can I just get them to come dig it up tomorrow, come locate it for me?
If you have a manhole on your property, don't you know where it should be?
Yeah, but, I mean, I need them to tell me where the main is. I need them to locate my main, or their main. But it's on my property. Can I get the employees to dig it tomorrow?
Well, they may know if it is or is not. You know, I don't know what the circumstances are. And again, the people in the streets department and the public utility department know how to do that.
Okay, I'll ask them tomorrow if they can come dig the main up for me, or locate the main for me. And if they say, okay, you're good with it?
Well, no, I'm not, actually,
I mean, they're just doing a locate.
well,
That's all.
that's not a legal question.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know where, I don't know where.
Is it because it's for me, it's not a legal question?
I don't know where.
I got you.
I don't know where it would be, but generally, it's for the protection of the city property work.
So they're just supposed to go out and locate where the line is and that's it? Do nothing else?
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do, locate the line, tell the homeowner, there's your line.
And usually that's done when they do some type of construction. or
Yeah.
something.
What they do is go locate and tell you, here is our line, the city's line, here's where you're to connect. That's what they do. They don't locate my line. That's my property. They locate their line.
Yeah, the city's line,
Yes.
yeah. And that's what they should be locating, is the city's line.
Yep.
Yes, that's correct.
So they can't locate my line.
They can locate the city's line. I see what you're saying. You're saying you got a line on your property, and the city's line is the only thing they can locate.
Right.
If it's a sewer main and it runs through your property, they can locate that sewer main, and this is where it is.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, the sewer they will, because Orange City did that for me when I did that house over by the post office.
Okay, I'm done on that subject. Does anybody have a motion or anything on there? No action?
So what do we, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to understand, what are we taking action on?
You have the possibility to take action on anything that you would say in your motion, but if you don't want to do anything or say anything, there's nothing prescribed. You can take no action. You can say, yeah, I want to do this, I don't want to do that. You can ignore me and we'll just move to the next one after 30 seconds of silence.
I'll make a motion that we take no action.
Second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Call the roll.
Counselor Briones?
Yes.
Counselor Wynn?
Yes.
Counselor Sines?
Yes.
Counselor Kano?
Yes.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
All in favor?
Thank you. Item number 14, discussion and possible action regarding the collection of the city's hotel motel taxes. Motion?
Make a motion to consider item 14 on the agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay.
So what are we talking about when we talking about?
We met here a while back, and I was presented with a letter that wasn't signed, but I never got a copy of the letter. I saw the letter, but I never got a copy. I think it came from Justin. Do you still have that letter, Justin?
Which letter?
It was from the 505.
Yep.
And they said they had legal representation, and we said, okay, great, then we can't talk to them. Their attorney can talk with our attorney, and they can get that straightened out.
I believe their legal representation is here tonight.
Okay.
No, not at all. Okay.
I thought you had the letter, but I don't have a copy of it.
The letter that I brought, I gave to them, because I don't have that letter anymore.
Ooh, do you have it? Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay.
But I just wanted to confirm that it did say that they had legal representation, and that they would get with ours, or they would be here to visit, right?
Tonight,
No, not tonight, but in that letter that they wrote.
in the letter that they wrote, from what I remember correctly, is that the 505 essentially was saying that they are a month-to-month rental, if I'm remembering this correctly, and that they weren't subject to the hotel motel tax.
Okay. So nobody has the letter, so we can go back to it.
I'm sure I can ask them for that same letter back.
Okay.
I'd be more than happy to talk to their attorney.
Well, I wanna, yeah, that's what I wanna know, but it's not right for the city to be talking to them if they've told us to our face or in writing, I have legal representation. You need to be talking to them.
Yes,
So-
exactly.
And I wanna know where, I saw in the paper you were quoted as saying that if they're not a motel, they don't owe hot taxes. I guess a month ago or so. Mr. Brad.
And if they are not a hotel or a motel,
Which that's true.
they aren't covered by the hot tax law.
That's true, I just wanna know where that came from. And I didn't know if.
No, it was just with conversation with them.
Okay, so nobody has talked to them?
Not in
Not
2 or 3 months.
Okay, I just don't wanna, I could be wrong, but when somebody lets you know, hey, I have an attorney, we're not supposed to, hey, don't mess, don't leave them alone, just leave
Yeah,
them alone.
and she told me she had an attorney on the phone, and I said, okay, then, you know, our attorney,
Okay,
we'll get the attorneys together to hash
because
it.
again, the letter was addressed to me, but I didn't have a copy of the letter, and I know what the letter
They
said.
did not
And
do
if-
the attorney.
I need their legal counsel to, once we're notified to have legal counsel, we have to contact them. Or I don't have that information, who it is, but if the legal counsel doesn't contact me, then the city proceed with, you know, collection of.
So what are we doing?
I need to talk to their legal counsel to understand why they fall under the exception.
Okay,
And to see if that is truly the case.
okay.
Is item 14, it doesn't say who you're collecting from. Is that who y'all are speaking of, the 505? It
I
doesn't
guess
say.
I'm under the impression.
Generally, the collection of hotel motel.
But it doesn't say.
Don't say exactly from who.
No,
It says,
Okay, so you're on it, not us.
Yeah, I have to be because they informed the city that they have legal counsel, so I have to talk to them directly. But that they have to give me his information, otherwise the city will proceed as it does owe hot taxes.
Okay, so what would you append that we do?
Well, I would, you know.
How about
like
can I get you their legal counsel's information and we'll just go from there?
Yes.
Okay.
But he needs to contact me.
Okay.
Because it is a claim the city has against his client. So in order to defend him, they need to tell me why we shouldn't do what we're doing.
I can do that.
Okay.
and then any indication this can't come back at the city for false accusation of trying to collect something that's not owed to us.
No, it's,
Okay,
it's,
just making sure.
if it's a.
If they come out and say, look, their counsel says, no, they don't owe it to you, they're not this, they give you all the proof, and then all of a sudden they get a hair out of nowhere and say, you know what, falsely accusing of us doing this and this, they're talking all this, giving a bad reputation, they turn out, we're filing a lawsuit. Is that, there's no possible way that can happen?
Well,
File a lawsuit for anything.
I'm sorry, anyway.
But
exactly.
realistically,
But I think there's good cause for the city to proceed in good faith with the information.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So it's a, you know, the city has, with the information the city has, that is their good faith belief, and that's, so.
I'll get you both the property manager's information and then
All the information that you give
Okay.
me, that would be good.
I would be happy to do that.
Okay, but just to clarify, he just said he's gonna get you the information, but when he said that a while ago, you said he needs to contact me.
Yes.
Referring to you. I don't want him to get you the information and you just come back a month later and go, well, he never contacted me.
Well,
So what do you want? Do you want him to
I'll
have
send
him
it
contact
in
you?
an email. How about that? That's an,
Yeah, because I need to know who will be contacted.
Okay.
And then what information they
I
have to
can-
prove their position that they have.
I'll get it to you. How about tonight? I can do that. Even better.
Okay.
Fine, thank you.
Okay, nothing there to do unless y'all wanna do something. Motion?
I'll make a motion and we take no action.
I'll second it.
If there's not any, if there's no other discussion, please call the roll.
Counselor Briones?
Yes.
Counselor Wynn?
yes.
Counselor Sines?
Yes.
Counselor